What does constipation mean to you? Is it an inability to pass bowel, or you have to strain? Or is there a sense of incomplete feeling after passing bowel? Well, let me help you understand. As per modern science, if you have a difficulty in passing bowel, wherein there is pain, discomfort, or it feels hard, lumpy, clumpy, or you are not able to pass bowel more than 3 times a week, then in that case it is constipation. Well, is that really the case? Ayurveda gives us a detailed understanding of the same. In today's episode, let us try to explore all that in detail. Ayurvedically understood, your bowel habits varies with your body type. To begin with, if you are a lean vata kind, then in that case, one bowel per day is like a lottery for you. For that, you may have to ensure that you are eating foods that calms down your vata. And if you are a pitta kind, in that case, 2 to 3 bowels per day is the norm. Anything less than that can feel like constipation to you, when even slightly loose bowel is quite common. And for a rounded stout kapha kind, 1 bowel per day in the morning after a cup of warm water is like quite an easy breeze. Anything less than this is constipation. Now, constipation can also mean you have dry, hard, pellet-like stool, or you have incomplete bowel evacuation, or you have no urge at all in the morning to pass bowel. So let's begin with the commonly asked questions over constipation. Common causes of constipation. Ayurvedically understood, constipation not just happens because you are drinking less water or there is less fiber. It can happen whenever your intestine is unable to pass out the bowel in the right way. For a dry lean vata kind, it can be the reduced amount of food quantity that leads to constipation. For a kapha kind, it will be because of lack of hydration or reduced consumption of fiber. Depending on your body type, the change in food habit leads to constipation. Can too much fiber cause constipation? Yes, this is applicable to the vata kind because for them, they need more moist, grounding, soft and unctuous food, which means fat-containing food. Now, if Vata people end up consuming more of fibrous food like say for example raw salad, that will lead to bloating followed by constipation. Can peanut butter cause constipation? Yes, for a kapha kind. In them, when they have cheesy, creamy, greasy food, then in that case, this leads to delayed digestion, making your bowel more sticky, leading to constipation, which gives you incomplete, sticky bowel. Can banana cause constipation? Good question. For the dry, lean vata kind, banana is a saving grace. But for a kapha kind who generally do not like the mushy, slimy banana, in them it will lead to constipation. Can chia seed cause constipation? We know chia seed is a good source of fiber which can really give you bowel bulk. But unfortunately, there is not much of fat in it. The kapha kind of people will, of course, benefit from it. If the vata kind of people, if they do not consume with a fat medium, say for example, coconut milk, almond milk, regular milk, then in that case, it can give you constipation, not otherwise. Is castor oil a good laxative? It is a good laxative for somebody who has got dry gut or the vata kind of gut. It's called Krura Koshta Ayurvedically. Then in that case, 1 teaspoon of castor oil with a cup of warm milk at bedtime will help you in relieving your bowel in the morning. But if you are a kapha kind, you will end up with sticky stool. If you are a pitta kind, you will end up going to the loo in the middle of the night. A word of caution, it is to be used only under 2 circumstances. One, if you have got constipation for the vata kind, or you're trying to do inter-seasonal cleanse, again being a vata kind. Otherwise, do not bother using it because it will be counterproductive. Can protein powders cause constipation? Yes, it does give you constipation if you are a vata kind. Again, in that case, the best way to avoid it would be to have it along with a probiotic. Say for example, yogurt paired with a laxative fruit, can be guava, papaya or dragon fruit, and ensure that you are consuming it by itself and not adding a lot of nuts and seeds because that again can lead to indigestion followed by bloating and even flatulence. Can drinking a lot of water help you get relief of constipation? Well, it can help you if you are a dry lean vata kind and when you're consuming lukewarm water. Excessive consumption of water itself can lead to constipation in a kapha kind. So be mindful of what your body type is and then consume water accordingly. Can being constipated for more than a year lead to any other complication? Well, yes. And in fact, this itself becomes one of the causative factor for hemorrhoids or piles where there is apana vata imbalance. In other words, there is a impairment in the functionality at the lower part of your rectum around your anus. This can lead to pooling in of blood because there is constant straining, and that leads to arches or hemorrhoids. So yes, it can lead to complications like piles. Are laxatives safe to use? Can there be any side effects? To begin with, laxatives are not the answer for your constipation, or rather, they are not the permanent solution for your constipation. It is just a temporary fix. Say, for example, today you feel constipated, or at a stretch for 2-3 days, off days you have been feeling constipated, you have a laxative, it is okay. But if it has become the norm, as in for years you have been feeling constipated, then what needs to be rectified is your Agni or gut health, because it is impaired digestion of food, wherein the food that you're consuming is not being converted to Sara and Kitta, which is nutrient and waste. Instead, a third byproduct, which is called Ama or inflammation, is being formed. This constant formation of Sa-ama-mala leads to few other diseases. So correcting the Agni or digestion would be the treatment and not just depending on a laxative. What are the natural foods that can help with constipation? My favorite remedy for a Vata person would be ghee milk at bedtime, or having curd or homemade yogurt along with your lunch, or you can go for prunes as a midday snack, or you can even go for banana, guava, papaya. All of these are amazing for a Vata kind. For a Kapha kind, you can go for spiced buttermilk along with your lunch, or you can sip in warm water throughout the day. Ensure that you are having a good movement in the morning. And the fourth one would be having at least 40% of your meal portion fibrous vegetables, and that will help in relieving constipation for a Kapha kind. For a Pitta person, you guys usually do not need a remedy because you barely feel constipated, and it is almost always about diarrhea, and a pomegranate juice or pomegranate would help you guys. What would be the natural remedy for constipation? Along with the dietary recommendations that I've given, if you can ensure that you work out in the morning, or apply 2 drops of castor oil in your umbilicus at bedtime, or apply castor oil pack at the lower abdomen, all of these will help in relieving constipation. Can constipation be completely cured? When treated right with the help of diet, lifestyle, and gut correction, it can be completely cured. And it cannot be cured just by popping in a pill, especially if it is a chronic condition. So you'll have to make the dietary changes. You have to ensure that it's not a completely sedentary lifestyle. And the third and the most important one, if your gut has changed, if the nature of your digestion has changed in the past couple of months, then in that case, that also needs correction. If you can do all these three, constipation will no longer bother you. Another common question that we found was why Ayurveda is a better choice than laxative. Couple of points that I would like to tell out here. One, Ayurveda focuses on the causative factor, which is impairment in Agni, which prevents the proper formation of bowel. So it helps in correcting the root cause. That is first and primary reason why Ayurveda is a better choice. Second, doesn't Ayurveda also talk about a lot of laxatives like Triphala, Avipatti Churn, castor oil, etc.? Yes, it does, but under specific conditions for a specific duration as part of a detailed treatment protocol. It is never by itself given as a treatment choice. And my 2 cents, Triphala is not the answer for your constipation. Just like as I said earlier, if it is like one of its kind instance, then in that case you can go for Triphala. But otherwise, try to correct the root cause, and that's the answer for your constipation. If you have got any more questions, you can let me know in the comments and we shall get back to you. Before we wind up the video, now you may wonder, being an Ayurvedic doctor, how come I'm recommending yogurt with fruit? Well, that is because if you're very particular about protein powder, which Ayurveda does not recommend otherwise, then in that case you can consume with this fruit and the probiotic for the simple reason that you have to get relieved of the bowel. Second, the ama formation or inflammation formation from this Viruddhahar gets taken care if you thoroughly work out. So I'm assuming that you are a gym goer or somebody who works out hardcore. then in that case you can have this combination just so that you get relieved of the complications from the protein powder, which is not otherwise recommended by Ayurveda. Hope that helps.